Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Agent Psycho, and we're gonna get started on the REC7 family of reviews. This will be chapter number 45, I believe, the Exploring Yourself playlist with me, Agent Psycho, aka Total Sniper 98. And because this chapter is a pretty short one, because there are only two variants to the REC7 family, the REC7 itself and the REC7 Rangers, it should be over pretty soon. But anyways, the reason why I decided to throw in the REC7 family chapter here after Dual Scorpions, or after Scorpion family, is because of the fact that I had originally planned to get the REC7 family chapter of reviews out immediately after the M416 family, because I like to view the REC7, even though Nexon doesn't really, or Combat Arms doesn't really technically classify it as such. I like to view the REC7 as an M4A1 and M416 variant. And you guys might be thinking like, whoa, Asian, like, what do you mean it's a variant of the M4A1? I mean, it's almost nothing like the M4A1 at all. I don't know what you guys think, but that's the general response that I've seen people have in response to the REC7. Like, I tell people it's an M4 variant, and they're like, whoa, what the hell? That's an M4 variant? No way, no way. But anyways, it is, believe it or not, it is an M4 variant in real life anyway. It is technically called the M468 Barrett, made by Barrett manufacturers, or Barrett Arms, the same guys who bring you the freaking 50 calibers and other anti-material sniper rifles and whatnot, all that good stuff. But anyways, here we're talking about the assault rifle, and apparently Nexon calls it the REC7 here in Combat Arms. It's actually called the M468, like I mentioned before, in real life, and you guys can check it out. And the M468 looks a little bit different from the REC7 here in Combat Arms, but that's another matter for another day. So let's get started on the review on the REC7. So, to start out this review, I want to kind of establish my thoughts on the REC7. First of all, the REC7 is a very good assault rifle, but it's more geared towards close quarters combat. Maybe a little bit of medium range combat as well, because of its integrated ITECH scope. And if you, surprisingly enough, if you spray down sights with your REC7 with the forced ITECH scope on your REC7, it actually matches people like bunny hopping pattern. So if you see someone who's bunny hopping at you and shooting at you at the same time at middle range, then crouch down. What I suggest anyway is crouch down with the REC7 and scope in and spray, because the recoil kickback may be pretty heavy on the REC7, which I'll cover later, but surprisingly enough, it actually matches like jumping behaviors. I don't know how to really explain that, but it just kind of follows them a little bit. So I don't know, you guys have to check it out for yourselves if you guys do have the chance to use the REC7 and see if I'm right or not, but that's just my take on it. So, and also another thing I want to establish is the fact that the REC7 is, like I mentioned before, is part of the M4A1/M416 family. So what I like to view about these weapons is that, so let's say there's like a horizontal spectrum, okay? On the very left-hand side, we've got the M4A1. It's a very, very low recoil. One of your lower damage M4A1 variants, but still pretty powerful. It's not your most powerful, obviously, but it's on the weaker side of things, but the main thing that's got going on right for it is the fact that it has very good accuracy and it's got extremely low recoil. Now, a little bit right to the right of the M4A1, you've got the M416, which pretty much emulates the M4A1 as low recoil and high accuracy. But the M4A1 has a little bit of a change in the recoil pattern itself. So that's why it's a little bit to the right of the M4A1. And then further to the right, we've got the M682 and the M682 SRT. The reason why they're there is because of the fact that the M682 SRT is extremely similar statistics-wise to the M416 CQB, and there's only like 1 point differences between the two, to be honest, and that's why they're there. And they really remind me of, you know, like the M4A1 family, even though they're technically called the M682 families. But anyways. And further to the right, on the very right-hand side of this of the M4A1 spectrum, we've got the REC7. It sits on the very right-hand side of the M4A1 spectrum of guns, and because of its extremely high damage, but also extremely high recoil. So you guys can probably see the picture that I'm trying to paint here for you guys, like lower damage but lower recoil guns on the left hand side, and higher damage and higher recoil guns on the right hand side, typically speaking. So that's how I like to view the REC7 in comparison to the other M4A1 variants, so to speak. So now that we've got that little spectrum out of the way, let's get into the let's finally get into the statistics of the REC7. The REC7's damage is very high for an M4A1 variant at 40. So this is as much damage as your F2000, and you guys have seen me use the F2000 a lot back in the day when I actually did have it. And the F2000 is very powerful, and I forget what kind of what rate of fire it has on it, but we'll get into rate of fire and why the damage on the REC7 is extremely high. But anyways, you just need to realize that the damage is at a 40 for 40 REC7, which for its rate of fire, it's very high. And moving on to the damage drop-off. The damage drop-off is actually pretty good up till far middle range. After that, you'll see in the latter half of this video play on Snow Valley, and at one instance you'll see me shoot at this guy who's AFK in their spawn, and one of the spawn points on Snow Valley, and it takes me a good 8-9 bullets just to take him down, and because I had the HP KDR vision on it on me, I could see his HP literally go down by 10 or like 11, and it was pretty frustrating. So I'm gonna say that the REC7's damage drop-off profile at long range is pretty terrible, and this makes sense because the REC7 is meant to be a close quarters M4A1 variant. I mean, the REC7, or not the REC7, but the M4A1 and 416 guns were already good, very good at close quarters combat because of their low recoil and very tight recoil spreads, even if you're spraying and strafing at the same time. But the REC7 is just it's pretty much its forte. You have to use the REC7 at close range, otherwise you're kind of doing something wrong with the REC7. So yeah, that's that for its damage drop off. The portability on the REC7 is surprisingly high at 65. That's very high. That's a very high portability even for an NX standard assault rifle. I mean, the G36, like the G36KE had like 60, somewhere around there as well. So do correct me on that if I am wrong, but it did have like a very mid 60s portability. So REC7's portability is actually very good, and this just goes on to show that it is meant to, Nexon does intend the REC7 to be a very close quarters minded assault rifle. Moving on to the rate of fire. Now this is why the damage is very high for the REC7. Its rate of fire is at a 76. This is one of the highest, if not the highest rate of fire statistic that Nexon has to offer in all of its assault rifles. So 76 rate of fire is no joke at all. You will definitely, the REC7's DPS time is just insanely fast. If you get all your bullets on target, and assuming you don't have the unfortunate luck of getting no-regged, it will knock down people very quickly. So rate of fire and damage combination, it's pretty deadly. Moving on to the accuracy. The accuracy on the REC7 is at 81, so it's pretty average, and it's very typical of the M4A1 family, and it is 1 point higher than the rest of the M4A1 variants and M416 variants for that matter. So it's not too much more accurate, but it is still a little bit more accurate. And I've noticed that if you tap fire with the REC7 at people in the general area of people's heads, especially at long range, you have a really good chance of picking up headshots, as you guys can probably see in the Snow Valley gameplay in the later half of this video. So that's just what I've noticed and observed while using the REC7. Recoil. Now this is where things get a little bit complicated. The REC7's recoil is at a 62. Now technically speaking, this is lower than the M416, or where Nexon says the M416, or at least Combat Arms Wiki says that the M416 has a 63 recoil. Now I'm not too exactly sure why the REC7 has a 62 recoil instead of a higher recoil than that, because the REC7's recoil spread and kickback are both higher, much more different than the M416's. The recoil spread spreads out a lot more quickly, and on top of that, the recoil kickback is a lot more jerky. It goes straight up for the first like few bullets, and it goes right, left, as typical of most assault rifles, but it just bounces around a lot more than the M4A1 and the M416 would. So the recoil on the REC7 is something you need to master, which you will eventually master over time, but it does take some getting used to. So, meaning, in other words, its recoil pattern is not the most noob friendly out there, especially not when compared to the M416 for that matter. Tap fire ability. So the tap fire ability on the REC7, the REC7's tap fire ability is very difficult compared to, like, say the M4A1 or the M416. The M4 or the REC7 the REC7's tap-fire ability, because it has such a high recoil kickback, while scoped in through your ITECH scope or your ITECH sight. I know some of you guys are picky about that for no reason at all, but anyways, because like I said, the recoil kickback is pretty high per shot while scoped in through your ITECH sight, it's pretty difficult to tap fire rapidly without over tap firing. So the REC7 unfortunately is not a gun that you can easily tap fire with, but it's definitely a viable option at long range. I mean, if this is the only gun you have, then go at it, because even though it's not really meant for long range combat, the REC7 can still, like I mentioned before, it's pretty good at picking off heads at long range. So if anything, if it comes down to it, just try to rely on the REC7's luck, which is actually pretty high, and I'll get to that later in a bit, but it's not really meant for long range, and the tap fire ability on the REC7 kind of shows that. Sprint drawback, all the non-trivial aspects of the REC7, like how it performs, how it behaves, like the reload animation, draw animation, all that good stuff, is exactly identical to the M416 CQB. So if you came from an M416 CQB background, then coming over to REC7, just the overall feel of it will be very familiar, because the draw animation, draw speed, the reload animation, the reload speed are all very, very similar. So there you go. Let's see, the center speed. The center speed is very slow, even very slow for an assault rifle on the REC7. You'll find that it'll take some time for your spread to center back, and this is also apparent in the fact that the recoil kickback, while scoped in, it also takes a lot longer than other M4 variants or any other assault rifles to begin with, like the M4A1 and the M416. Like, their recoil kickbacks while scoped in through like an ACOG or an ITECH sight are very quick, and you can tap fire very easily because of that. However, the REC7 is just not the case, and you can't really expect it to behave the same as you would an M4A1 or anything of that matter. So that's the center speed. Reload speed. Reload speed is comparable to the M416 CQBs. I believe they are the exact same, but I usually like to rock the extended mag 2 on my REC7 because of the fact that it does have a very unique, well, not really unique, but it does have the enhanced 35 round capacity magazine, which means that I have 50 rounds in a magazine if I so choose to put an extended mag 2 on it. So yay, more bullets equals more death. So moving on to the fire modes. The fire modes, I believe the REC7 is only available in one fire mode that's fully automatic only, and yeah, nothing too special there. It does. And let's see here. I'm trying to toggle through the video options here. Anyways, so after that, we've got the ammo capacity, and because the REC7 has the enhanced 35 round magazine, it has 35 rounds in the magazine and 105 rounds in reserve. So you do start out with more ammo than you do when you would use like your normal assault rifle, like your G30E or something like that. Moving on to the luck. Now, I mentioned a little bit about the luck earlier in this review, and the luck is actually pretty high on the REC7. In this Snow Valley gameplay, you'll see me get like a streak of like 3-4 headshots in a row. So I mean, the REC7 isn't the luckiest assault rifle, but you can definitely it'll surprise you pretty pleasantly, and just how many headshots it can pick up for you, even if they're by complete accident. So there you go. Moving on to the key physical characteristics. So the REC7 kind of, I don't know, it doesn't really look like an M4A1 variant just from its profile picture, but it does have like an enhanced muzzle brake. I don't know, it looks like your standard assault rifle, and it kind of looks like an M16 if that ITECH sight wasn't there. I don't know, it might just be me being weird and stuff, but I don't know, you just have to see it to basically know what it looks like. So yeah, it just basically looks like a conventional assault rifle. Nothing too special, nothing like wonky about it in its physical appearance that makes it stand out of the crowd that I can remember, so to speak. So that's that. Muzzle noise. The muzzle noise is a very loud. It's not necessarily high pitched, but it's a very intense and very loud. I know some of you guys are just like, we want you to make gun sounds so we can laugh at you. So there you go. Happy now? But anyways, that's what it sounds like, kind of. So yeah, it's just a very loud blasting noise. So if you guys can kind of imagine that, if you guys can't really have the sound on during this review, if you don't have the sound on, I don't know how you're listening to me in the first place, but there you go. Just listen to gameplay and wait for me to fire the REC7 and you'll know what it sounds like. So moving on to the attachment options, you can only attach suppressors and magazine modifications to the REC7 because obviously it's already got the forced ITECH sight. So I honestly don't know why you would put an ACOG sight on your REC7 because of the fact that, I mean, like, I'm just so used to REC7 having the ITECH that even if Nexon suddenly decide like, okay, so you can have the choice of putting whatever sight on your REC7 now, I think I'd stick with the ITECH because just the ACOG plus REC7, I don't know. I'm not too sure if I like the idea. Not sure if what. But anyways, not sure if any of you guys get the reference, but it's okay. Moving on to the whether or not it's fireteam worthy. I would say it's pretty fireteam worthy because it does have a very high ammo capacity. It's got high damage, got high rate of fire, so everything that you need for fireteam is all bundled up into the REC7 quite nicely. Quarantine worthy, I would say it's more quarantine worthy than other assault rifles because of the fact that it has a higher rate of fire, more ammo, and because of the fact that it has pretty high portability. So, I mean, it's not the best for quarantine in terms of like a general weapon, but even still, it is good for what it is. Now, for my frank personal opinions, my frank personal opinions on the REC7 assault rifle. The REC7 used to be one of my favorite assault rifles in combat arms, especially when it first came out. I really loved how powerful it was. I just really loved how fast its fire rate was. I just loved the fact that it could knock people really quickly down at close range, and that's what I really liked about it in the end. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the REC7. Though the recoil, I will have to say that it took me a while to get used to the recoil pattern. So recoil pattern, spread, just the overall, just general heavy recoil of the REC7 compared to the M4A1 and M468 anyway. So if you guys are looking to use the REC7, then I would highly encourage you guys to do so because it is a great assault rifle. It's just that you might want to watch out for the recoil pattern because if you're not used to using high recoil weapons, like the REC7 or like an AK-47, which is like the master of high recoil weapons, then I would kind of suggest you guys to, you know, kind of take it easy for a little bit and try to take it easy with the REC7 and just not spray as often. Try to burst fire with it as much as you can. But yeah, that's all I have to say about the REC7. It's a very good assault rifle. I definitely encourage you guys to check it out if you guys do have like a 900 spare necks lying around in your account or something like that. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. This will conclude the REC7 review, and in the next review or in the next episode, we're going to be covering the NX rare variant of the REC7, the REC7 Rangers. So anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. This has been the REC7 review by me, Asian Psycho, aka TokenSniper98, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day, and see you guys later. Yuki shit.